Redfall gameplay continues to disappoint and receive mixed responses, but over the weekend it was decried as boring or slow or just plain bad. IGN first gameplay hit the airwaves and received lots of negative commentary, but people were very quick to say it was the player's fault. The player was playing poorly and making very bad decisions. Even a montage from B-roll that was put together by somebody who had been to the event and played the game and said, hey, this game is actually fun, here's a montage. Even that montage, I think, failed to excite a lot of people. I've been looking forward to the game. I was hoping it would be a perfect couch co-op game for my wife and I. We loved Borderlands. I also liked Left 4 Dead back in the day, and I still maintain some of my criticism about how they're handling co-op, but overall, I thought the gameplay showed promise, and even some of the early previews talked about how the gunplay felt really good. But now more than ever, I'm worried that this game looks like just another generic Left 4 Dead style game, and I do want to actually outline all the things that I noticed, all the things that I do think are not great or bad in the gameplay. I'm not just trying to hate on the game. I did try to put together a substantive list of things. I'll put all that together at the beginning of this video, so that way you don't have to go searching for it. So make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. So does the Redfall gameplay footage look bad, or is it just a bad player? That is the million-dollar question that many have weighed in on in the wake of the new footage from IGN, receiving a massive amount of downvotes and a lot of hate. Now, I want to break this into 4 sections. I do want to talk about the IGN footage. I also want to talk about the montage that was put together, and then I want to go through the list of reasons as to why I think the game does look bad. I've analyzed the footage quite a bit. I know everybody's going to say you've not played the game yet, which I'll address at the very end. I know that pushback's going to be very common, so I have prepared sort of a response to that. And I will include a sort of final and hilarious observation about all of the Forespoken comparisons. So make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss these types of videos or live streams. So while I am still withholding final judgment until the game is in my hands, I have noticed some things in the game that I think is concerning. They're not the only outlet that got footage, like IGN's not the only one rolling footage. Bethesda has their own footage that you can watch right here, right? They released this a while ago. But I do want to talk about the IGN footage first, because I think that's sort of the centerpiece of this discussion, all right? First and foremost, it needs to be firmly stated that this gameplay footage from IGN is just flat out terrible, okay? It's awful. Whoever was playing this, they seem to be experimenting. They're sort of meandering around. They're not creating any sense of game flow. Now, that's no shade to the player. I have done this myself when I'm testing out a game. I'll kind of move around. I'll try an ability. I'll move to weird locations just to sort of feel what the game feels like. But that doesn't mean that you record that gameplay and then debut it as part of the game's marketing efforts. They give you first dibs, and you didn't allow anybody else. They did not allow anybody else to use their recorded footage, by the way. IGN was the only one that, in the wake of this capture event in the previews, they're the only one putting out their own footage. Everybody else is using B-roll. Now, that doesn't mean that you, owe the developer, a crispy montage, but you certainly should try to showcase the game in a more natural way, right? Making decisions that don't make sense, using very strange and arbitrary cuts, and all of this, I think, comes together, and it leads to a very poor showing. But here's the thing. At a fundamental level, it begs some questions. Why was the player able to play so stupidly and not feel any sense of threat? Why was enemy movement, AI, and player movement so plodding and slow and boring? Just because the player is playing poorly doesn't mean it doesn't expose things about the game that I think are worth pointing out. I do think some blame can be pointed at the player who put together this footage and recorded this, but I do also think the game is to blame to a certain extent, which I think can ironically be seen in the montage that started circulating in an effort to make the game look better. Now, if you didn't see this, this sort of transpired on Twitter, and it should be clearly stated that IGN is the only outlet that was allowed to upload their own recorded footage. The montage that started circulating was literally just a mashup of B-roll footage that all of the outlets have access to use. I'm not really interested in getting into a claim about, did the montage posture as if it was their own recorded footage and not B-roll, right? People were saying that the guy lied. I'm not interested in that, okay? That's up for you to decide, right? I saw a tweet from this person claiming they had played the game and really enjoyed it, and then their next tweet a few hours later was a montage that they created. They said, here's a montage I made. I was left with the impression that it was their footage, but it wasn't, and many people thought the same thing. I even saw some videos this morning where people are saying, oh yeah, this guy's footage, this guy's gameplay. That's not the case, all right? Now, the reason that I don't want to get into that, I don't want to get into that at all. Why? It doesn't matter, okay? I don't care whose footage it is. The gameplay still looked slow. It was still plodding and boring, and it featured more strange hip fire and slow pans with really showy executions. And the montage itself received mixed responses. If that's the best you've got from the best they've got, right? You montaged highlights, basically, because the devs giving you highlights of the game that they think are really exciting. Those were already sort of in favor of the game. They claimed that the montage looked amazing and it was a better showing of the game, a more accurate showing of the game, okay? And those who were sort of against the game already were claiming it still looked like trash. I was sort of leaning in the game's favor after I heard from all of the previews that the gunplay was majorly improved over previous Arkane games, and I literally quote tweeted Benji Sales when the previews first started rolling out. I said that I was excited, but the more I see, the less excited that I get. And I think it's only fair to attempt to say why, rather than just say, oh, it looks bad, right? Or oh, it looks like a Left 4 Dead clone. I want to attempt to put together my thoughts and some meat on the bone. So why does it look bad? I'm going to break this down into 5 categories. Number 1, FOV and game speed. Number 2, gun handling and impact. Number 3, movement and abilities. Number 4, executions. And number 5, yes, I am going to talk about Left 4 Dead. So first, FOV and game speed. Something is very much off with respect to the FOV and the game speed, right? Field of view can certainly affect your sense of speed in a game, and so for starters, I think the FOV is too zoomed in. It makes the gun feel massive on the screen. Now, a gun doesn't actually shrink when you increase FOV in a game, but it makes it feel less huge because you see more of the environment. If you've ever seen side-by-side comparisons of an FOV at like 75 to about 100, it looks like the gun is smaller simply because you can see more areas, right? Like the gun is just gobbling up screen capital in this footage, and this is directly from Bethesda's own YouTube channel. I think when you have a better FOV or a higher FOV, this creates a healthier screen capital ratio, and Redfall feels very cramped. Now, obviously, you could change this when the game comes out, but I typically don't know what sort of an FOV slider they're going to give you on console. That might be reserved for PC. We'll have to wait and see. This directly affects how the game feels. The pan and scan movement, even from the montage, it just has that sort of classic gameplay demo slow feel to it. So in general, I think the game feels slow and the FOV leads to a claustrophobic feel. Now, again, the caveat is they might let you change the FOV when the game comes out, and that actually will alleviate some of what I'm talking about. The game will feel faster. If you've ever even done this in Borderlands, increasing the FOV in Borderlands has a great effect on how fast and intense the game feels. You should try it out if you've never done that. Bump that FOV up. But this leads to point number 2, gun handling and impact. With top-shelf shooters available in the market, FPS games face a significant challenge of making guns feel good. Much of this is achieved with recoil or gun-firing animations, and it makes the guns feel impactful. A great example of a game right now, just from gameplay trailers, that looks great in this department is Witchfire. Witchfire looks incredible. People have made comparisons to Destiny, one of the best shooters in the market with respect to gun handling, reload animations. The guns just feel crisp. They feel powerful and impactful. Redfall guns feel like giant toasters that just sort of tickle the enemies rather than impact them. I rewatched the montage footage numerous times to attempt to put this into words, and this is what I've come up with. Enemies respond to being shot in a variety of ways in the Redfall footage that we have up to now. Number one, some of them completely ignore the fact that they're being shot. They don't even acknowledge it. There's just like red stuff right here. There's just red stuff kind of popping off of them. And then the other way they die is right there. Some kind of a death animation is triggered and they just sort of disintegrate. Others sort of just quickly die and they turn into a ragdoll that just slumps down onto the battlefield. They just kind of fall down, okay? Those are sort of the three ways that enemies die. This makes gun of choice feel somewhat inconsequential. You go from enemies quickly falling down to non-responsive enemies to death animations, and the enemies just sort of dissolve. It's certainly showy and flashy at times, but the guns just feel flat. Given the positive feedback around the gunplay, I am still withholding final judgment on this because many people have said that the gunplay was really enjoyable and that the gunplay was dramatically improved over previous Arkane games. But I've watched plenty of trailers for shooters and I thought that gunplay looks kind of bland, and my instinct hasn't missed here. I've been watching trailers for shooters for a very, very long time, and I've had this feeling before, and I've turned out to be right. That doesn't mean I'm special. I'm not some sort of sage gameplay, analysis expert. Long-standing shooter players know what good gunplay looks like, and I think Redfall is falling short. The third thing I want to talk about why the gameplay looks bad is the movement and the abilities. I feel like they look sort of generic. When the game first debuted with a trailer, if you remember way back when, they were clearly hinting at like 4 different classes with different abilities and things that they could do. It sort of looked like Left 4 Dead meets Borderlands, and those are 2 games that I enjoyed in their time. But as time has gone on, the abilities just seem unimpactful and bland. And again, this could be a fault of the footage shown. But even in the montage footage where I'm supposed to be excited to play the game, this is supposed to be the best footage that you have, the abilities feel immaterial and they're more for show than for impact. I can launch off the back of an enemy because I stuck him with an explosive, but why? It just feels like it's been created for more of a montage show-off than for game impact. In both the IGN footage and the montage, the abilities just sort of happen with no visible impact. A bird flies forward and we don't really see what it does. The IGN footage, they put down this pole of light and it's this big, huge animated thing wind up and it's punctuated by this big blast, and the enemy doesn't even react. They just sort of stand there. They kind of like fly through it as if nothing has happened. And I think even if you attempt to blame the IGN player, the abilities still land like a wet noodle. It's like nothing's really happening. You can actually watch what I just spoke about right here in the footage. Big, huge wind up and a blast, and seemingly zero impact on game flow, zero impact on the enemy. The fourth thing I want to talk about with the gameplay is, this is somewhat related to the abilities and the movement. The executions. I think these look great, but I think they could get functionally old. The few times that they take place in the game, they don't feel all that helpful. They're just like an animation that you can trigger by running up to the enemy, and I suppose you are aided by this by the brain-dead AI that's non-responsive, because there doesn't seem to be any tactical benefit to running up to an enemy and suddenly being bogged down in animation, right? It's like, why would I do that? Isn't that going to expose me? Is there any sort of benefit? Someone on Reddit actually gathered a lot of the consistent criticism from all of the previews, and one of the things that people said is that the vampires are really easy. I think Some of their game design decisions likely forced them into this, with the claustrophobic FOV and the slow speed and the flat and non-impactful abilities punctuated by lengthy and seemingly unnecessary executions. They had to make the AI dumb cannon fodder, which leads to my last point. This feels like another Left 4 Dead. I think the reason that many are decrying the game as generic or boring is because we feel like we've played this game before, to a certain degree. That's not necessarily fair to Redfall, but listen, when you step into this genre, you need to find ways to be distinct. The most common pushback I'm seeing in defense of this game is the typical, well, all of the Sony games are just third-person action-adventure games. Yeah, and each of those titles steps into that genre and creates their own gameplay loop and identity. Horizon Forbidden West plays nothing like God of War Ragnarok, and Returnal and The Last of Us play nothing like Ghost of Tsushima. I saw an image on Twitter where they showed Jin from Ghost of Tsushima holding a bow, and then they showed The Last of Us, somebody holding a bow, and I'm like, those games aren't even remotely similar, but because the camera is behind the person, anybody who hasn't played them just assumes that they're basically the same game. One of the reasons these games have been nominated for awards and have won awards is because they actually create something unique within the genre that they land. I don't think Redfall appears to be doing that. I don't. I'm looking at a game that is giving you that co-op, get together with your buddies and kill some zombies, and now it's just vampires with some loot. I much prefer this type of game, honestly, if I'm honest. Historically, I love games like this with loot and skill trees and playing with a friend. But when you step into the zombie shooter lane, you're going to need to find ways to expand that gameplay loop. I don't think we're seeing anything significantly new here, and that hasn't really been seen fully because I haven't played the game yet. So I want to deal with that pushback, because that's what everybody's going to say. Well, you haven't played the game yet. You haven't played the game yet. Okay, my reply to that is quite simple. You know what? You're right. I haven't played the game yet, and neither have you. We can't pretend that we don't live in an age where we can get a very good grasp on a game's quality from watching gameplay. People are acting like this game is a Game of the Year contender, and they haven't touched it either, okay? People do this with YouTube videos and live streams even after a game releases. The gamer hive mind, I think, is more informed and more adept at sniffing out bad gameplay than ever before. If you're a game developer, if you're in charge of the marketing of a game right now, that's something you have to consider. Gamers are getting really good at sniffing out the stinkers. Do you remember Gotham Knights? Do you remember that game? Before it came out, everybody said something looks off, something doesn't look right, and it was a bad game that got terrible scores. Do you remember the day before? It's going to be hard to remember the day before because it's not even going to launch, and gamers are the ones who sniffed out all the seemingly fake things or problems with that game's gameplay. Do you remember Halo Infinite's trailer debut? What about Kill the Justice League? These are all examples of gameplay that debuts and the gaming hive mind says something's not right here. To posture as if we can't draw any conclusions or make any observations about a game simply because we haven't played it yet is just convenient hand-waving. And yes, there are folks who are overstating their criticisms and saying that the game is trash, but just as many hardcore Xbox fans seem to be rushing to claim that this game is a triumph before the public has even touched it. And everyone needs to remember this factor. Not all of the previews for this game are glowing and singing its praises. There are people out there claiming that. Well, all the previews are positive, right? That's a lie. And you're just attempting to be a PR mouthpiece for the game. If we're supposed to wait for the game to come out to really reserve our judgment, then why are all the pro Xbox pundits, blogs, and YouTubers claiming that this game is amazing and a contender for nominations? Why are they doing that? PC Gamer said that it feels like a sad stumble, and others described it as pretty standard affair for the genre. That doesn't sound like glowing praise to me. And last, but certainly not least, I do have to call out the hilarious comparisons to Forespoken, which I find ironically very hilarious. Forespoken, first and foremost, is not a first-party Sony title. If disappointed fans attempt to brush aside Redfall as, well, it's not really a true first-party title because the dev cycles and Redfall was in development before Xbox acquired them, I'm gonna laugh at that goalpost shifting if it takes place. You wanted Redfall as a first-party exclusive, and you got it. Secondly, Forespoken, just like Redfall, hand-picked preview outlets but wouldn't let them use their own recordings. And look how that turned out. Forespoken was a very mediocre and disappointing game, and it received very lackluster review scores. And Sony haters were very quick to trash it and claim some strange sense of victory because a timed exclusive game on Sony didn't do very well. And now, that same group is unironically invoking Forespoken, a non-Sony first-party title, as a game that Redfall's going to be better than. I wouldn't ignore the similarities between how both of these games' marketing has been handled, because to me, it looks like we're on the cusp of another disappointing game that tried to control the PR and the marketing of the game before it came out. At the end of the day, the IGN footage, the montage of the B-roll gameplay, it just leaves me less enthused to play a game that I've been excited about since the very first trailer. And while I still plan on playing it, and withholding final judgment until then, this one's shaping up to be another perfect game for Game Pass for all the wrong reasons. So let me give you my thoughts and my conclusions, all right? Number one, the IGN footage is not entirely the game's fault, okay? But it's also not entirely the player's fault either. I believe them playing as poorly as they did actually exposed problems in the game with respect to player movement, the slowness of everything, the stupid AI, and just not really engrossing or exciting gameplay. Even their clumsy, muddled gameplay gave us a glimpse into just some of the game's shallowness and slowness. Number two, if the montage was the best showing that fans could come up with, I'm actually more concerned. Making a highlight reel of a highlight reel isn't that impressive, because that's what it was. Pre-approved footage from the developer, chopped up to look as intense and as exciting as possible, is not a very good look when, as I watched it, I saw the same problems. A very claustrophobic, slow, plodding game where guns and abilities have menial impact on the flow of gameplay. After my lengthy analysis in this monologue, I hope folks can see I'm not just mindlessly hating. I've played FPS games since their inception in Wolfenstein 3D. Heck, I played Operation Wolf on the original Nintendo. I've been playing shooters since they became a game type, okay? I know what good and bad shooters look like, and this one's shaping up to be pretty bad. My conclusion: the console war has turned into a new landscape and battle zone. The prophets of doom face off against the prophets of hype. And I'm left thinking, I just want good games. Hype over minuscule amounts of hand-picked gameplay is just as worthy of dismissal as mindless hate. You're both doing the same thing. So for now, we're all in the same position, waiting for the actual release to land on a firm conclusion. And that's the show open. That's the show open. I did my absolute best. I didn't anticipate doing a 23-minute monologue on Redfall, but the more I watched this footage, I was just like, I don't understand. It looks bad. It genuinely feels like they're trying to hide raw gameplay. Like they don't want anybody to see what this game looks like when just in the hands of people, right? I don't know. That's just how I feel. The more I watch this, the more I get Forespoken vibes. I was harsh on Forespoken. From the very beginning, I was leery of Forespoken. I was like, what the frick is going on? Why won't they let us see more, right? Like, I'm telling you, this looks the same to me. I feel like I'm on the same runway of a plane that's barely going to take off. Like, and that's the thing. I said the same thing about Forespoken. I gave Forespoken the same treatment. I'm not talking just about the IGN gameplay. I'm also talking about the montage. If you're watching on the Tickety Talk, I got my stream thing. We're going to be able to set that up, and we're going to be able to stream along with Kick. And we have a couple of people watching us over on Kick, so thank you so much for doing that. Consider becoming a member over there. Consider becoming a member here on this channel. We have slipped below 2,500 members, so get us back up there. We're in like the 2,300s. You guys have been killer at maintaining 2,500 members, so that way you get to keep all those great benefits of like Star Wars watch parties and horror nights. And if you get to 3,000, I got to do a Just Dance stream. Also, who wants to be the first to order a coffee? Huge coffee sale. All right, the holiday blend's been marked down to $12.95, and if you're a member, get in the Discord, because you can get a buy two, get one free on all of our coffee right now. There's a code in the Discord for you, just for members. I won't be shocked if Shillup gives it a good review. I highly doubt he will do that. He has not been kind to games as of late if he doesn't like them. I've never once felt like SkillUp gives games just a good score just to give a good score. That's not what he does. I feel like he's too thoughtful for that. Go watch, if you think SkillUp is going to give this game a good review, go watch his review of Deathloop. I couldn't have agreed more with him about Deathloop. Deathloop was another mid-lane game that was way overpraised. Really making a game look better than it actually is false advertising. Have you seen the vertical OBS plugin? I have. I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in that. I thought you liked the Kill the Justice League gameplay. I actually did, because that's what I expected from that game. I expected a silly, mindless arcade shooter with my friends. Like, that's what I expected. I didn't expect what everybody else was expecting. And when I initially saw stuff from Redfall, I got excited as well. Like, I was like, oh, this looks good. So I'm always open to being wrong. Like, if a game comes out and I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be really good and it turns out to be bad, I'm always the first person to admit that. Since the very first trailer of Redfall, I have thought that's the perfect game for me. I love games like this. I do. I've played all the Left 4 Deads. Back 4 Blood was, I think, pretty bad. I didn't like it. I also think I'm just experiencing franchise fatigue with zombie shooters. I do. I feel the same way about Dead Island 2. It's like, how many times can I stomp on a zombie's head or fight some big growling tank, right? Like, okay, I can only do that so many times. Yo, what's good, Brap? Hey, Akuda Papa with 19 months and a VIP. Hey, Lono, keep up the great work. Missing being able to be here on the regular, but I just got my solo yesterday, so now I'm on my private pilot license. That's awesome, Akuda Papa. Good for you, man. I didn't like Deathloop myself. Yeah, I found Deathloop to be very disappointing. I really did. Like, Deathloop should have been a perfect game for me. I started to enjoy Rogues a little bit more because of Returnal and games like Hades, and I thought, man, maybe Deathloop will be another game that convinces me to give Rogues a chance. And I thought Deathloop was very mediocre. I was completely shocked that it got 9s and 10s. The director says it's more like Far Cry than Left 4 Dead, but I don't see it. That's another thing that confuses me, Josh. I'm like, wait just a minute here. The way that this game looks and flows in the gameplay, I don't see Far Cry at all. I see Left 4 Dead, which is fine, but that's not what I was looking forward to. From the very first trailer, the very first Redfall trailer, I thought that could be really fun. Like a Borderlands-style game with vampires, you know, kind of like a Left 4 Dead meets Borderlands. It just unfortunately feels very non-impactful in everything that the player's doing, right? And I know people are like, well, the IGN footage is really, really bad. Well, sure, I'm not disagreeing with that at all, but why was the player able to play so poorly? It feels like it exposed a bunch of problems in the game. Why were they able to play like that? The enemy looks stupid. The enemy's just wandering around, and the enemy doesn't respond to any of the attacks. He literally puts that light pole down right in front of the enemy, and the enemy doesn't react or anything. It's super weird. I enjoyed Deathloop, but can see why others didn't. I thought SkillUp's review of Deathloop was excellent. I thought he did an excellent job breaking down why that game was so not a 9 out of 10 game. It's a 7 out of 10 game. It's not a bad game, but it's also not some. It got Game of the Year nominations, for frick's sake. Why? What about Deathloop was worthy of that? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. And I watched a guy this morning. He put together a really good video, and he talked about, like, Arkane isn't the same. They're not the game company they used to be. And he pointed to Deathloop. He's like, I just didn't think Deathloop was that great. And he's like, and now look at Redfall. He feels like Arkane is on a trajectory of lower quality games. And it's hard to disagree with him. Baker, with 23 months, just got my 6 bags of Frickmas yesterday. This should hopefully last for a few months. Thanks for the coffee and keep up the great shows. Thank you guys so much. Who's going to be the first member of the day, right? Maybe we need to do some gifteds to get this thing going. I'm able to participate in a study for YouTube creators. Ooh. April 20th, 21st, 22nd. Okay, so later. Okay, I'll have to look at that later. It's 60 minutes. I like doing those. I like giving them good ideas. It's going to be a flop, isn't it? Well, and here's the thing. Zepp with 16 months. Hey, Akuta Papa, congratulations on your solo. Flying is awesome. I currently fly little jets, single pilot at a charter operation. I love my job. Hey, that's awesome, Zepp. Good for you, man. And thanks, everybody, for smashing the like button. We already have 200 likes, over 600 people here. This would be a great day to gift some members and get some new people in the community, get us back to 2,500 members. We're at like 2,300, I think. That's cool. Don't read my message. Oh my gosh, Noberto. I'm so sorry. Hang on. Noberto with 23 months in a VIP. He says, congrats on getting your stream thing on the Tiki, homie. Love seeing how much engagement you're getting from new people and homies with big platforms. The top is just within reach. You got this. I appreciate you so much, Noberto. You've always been around. You've always been positive. I'm sorry that I didn't read that. I don't know why I did that. I get distracted by comments and like start just reading chat. Redfall better start working on DLC. Flop coming next. Right, Doc Dark included me. He mentioned me in a video because he had a video and I knew what he was doing. I thought it was very clever. He said Redfall just shadow dropped on Game Pass. And he was like, it must have been because everybody's trashing it, right? It was cheeky. It was probably the most appropriate form of clickbait I've ever seen, right? It was like he was being cheeky. Most people probably knew that when they clicked on it. Anyways. But in his video, y'all know I love Doc, like real love, and he said that, he saw this tweet from me where I said, we're supposed to be getting a better cadence of AAA games. This shouldn't be a mediocre dumping ground. And he thought I was saying that if a game is bad or whatever, it's Game Pass's fault. And that's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying that Redfall's going to be mid and it's because of Game Pass. I was sort of preparing for the cliche excuse and the hand wave of it's not a big deal that it's kind of mediocre, right? Because it's on Game Pass and I didn't pay for it. And I'm like, that's not what Game Pass was originally positioned to be. It wasn't supposed to be a mediocre dumping ground. We were supposed to be getting a AAA game every quarter, day and date on Game Pass. That cadence of games has not happened, and when you're getting ready to start that cadence of games, Redfall is your kickoff? Yo! That's a big one. Terminal stupidity starting off the week. I did take yesterday off as an observed holiday. I figured viewership would have been pretty bad anyway, and I was not ready to get anything done over the weekend. I was so tied up celebrating the holiday with my family and my friends, and I was gone all day Sunday. So thank you guys so much for a strong start back after a little teeny break, a little long weekend I took for myself. I got a bunch of work done yesterday. We've got a great continuation of the AI in gaming series today about monetization. You're not going to want to miss it. There it is. We've already hit the goal. Every 25, I have to gift 5, and you guys have already hit it. If you go past 25, I'll roll it to the next milestone of 50. So If you guys keep going, I'll give you that next milestone goal. Hilly over here on Kick says, is the game missing animations? I was surprised the abilities seem to have no effect on combat. I thought Redfall would lean on the abilities and take out the supernatural enemies, not just pew-pews. When I went to Reddit, there was a Reddit thread where the guy sort of tabulated all the consistent criticisms that he found from the Redfall previews. And one of them was the skill trees and the abilities don't change much. They pretty much stay the same throughout the course of the game. And so it sounds like they didn't put a lot of depth into the abilities and what they do, which isn't surprising given how I've seen them used in all the footage. Again, as I said in my show open, the abilities feel like they're there more for show than for impact. Like, as an example, they released footage for the I put her on the thumbnail. I forget her name, but they released footage of her using one of her abilities. It was kind of like, it's actually a really cool video. Layla Ellison is her name, and I actually think it's a pretty cool little video, right? I think she looks awesome. I think the character design is awesome. I think the way they have her like sitting in the chair is cool. Yeah, like this right here is great work. Whoever put this together, whoever kind of captured her demeanor, her movement, her facial expressions, like they did a really, really good job. Like they make her look like a cool character. Like you kind of want to play as her. And you get a little backstory here. She's hanging out with her boyfriend, and they get attacked. He saves her life, and then I guess you can use him in the combat. You can like summon him to do stuff in the combat. But then when you come back here, and again, it's pretty shocking just how good she looks. Like I like the way they filmed this. See the little micro expressions? That's actually really good mocap. Like she looks really, really good as far as like believable facial expressions. But then you get into the gameplay, and it's like, what's the purpose of any of that? Now, that thing I get. The umbrella is actually cool. I actually think the umbrella is very cool. She reminds me of a siren from Borderlands, right? But the launching the enemy in the air and then launching yourself in the air, I don't get it. Yo! Cat! Oh my gosh. 45 members on the day. A massive, massive member bomb from Cat. You guys are going to get us right back to 2,500 members. Maybe we even hit 3,000 members in April. That would be phenomenal. We've gotten close a number of times. We've gotten to like the 2,800. And you guys, I don't think Cat wants the Just Dance stream. She's always like, well, I'll get you close to 3,000, but I actually don't want it to happen. How does he keep churning out these cool words on live without stuttering? Oh, I've been doing live streaming for a long time. I appreciate the compliment. I've been doing live streaming for about 8 years. I like Doc Dart. He does cut the cap sometimes. Oh, I love Doc. I do. He kind of misunderstood what I was saying. I wasn't saying like you're getting mid-games because of Game Pass. I was saying don't excuse the mid-game because it's on Game Pass. Oh, well, who cares? It's on Game Pass, right? Oh my gosh. An absolutely massive member day is getting started. A member train for the ages. A 20 bomb from Terminal Stupidity. That's 40 from Terminal Stupidity. He's going for the Eknor Award. We want to honor Eknor. He's a member of our community who really started pushing the Gifted Member Initiative. He went above and beyond the call of duty, and he does have some kind of a terminal illness. He's not going to be with us for much longer, so we wanted to immortalize Eknor in the community. So every month, the person who gifts the most members gets the Eknor Award, and they get a free bag of coffee. Last month, it was Casual Grinder, and he gifted the coffee to somebody else. It went to another member of the community. Thank you so much, Terminal Stupidity. Aiming high for the Eknor Award. Already 65 members on the day. Every 25, I have to give 5, and we're already on the doorstep of 75. You guys are amazing. If you get a membership, make sure you get into the Discord. Members, there's a code in there. A buy 2, get 1 free. Make sure you use that code if you're ordering coffee, especially if you just got a membership. That's a great way to cash in on one of the benefits. Is a deal just for you in our members-only Discord. Yo, how's this going? What's good, Crinab? Good to see you on Kick. Good to see so many people on YouTube. We could easily have 300 likes on YouTube. We're only about 30 away. Make sure you're smashing that button. Listen, I just want people to be clear about something. I didn't want to do this stream and thumbnail. I didn't. Creature was like, you gotta do it. He's like, it's the thing that everybody's going to want you to weigh in on. And I was like, but it's just going to look like a hit piece. It's just going to make me look like a pony. And it's like, but I was looking forward to this game. Like, I don't like getting out the bat on a game that I wanted to play. Like, I've been continually telling you guys, I think Starfield's getting a raw deal. I think people have been overly critical of Starfield. I think the NPCs look amazing. I think Starfield shows lots of promise, right? It'll break my heart if I have to get out the bat on Starfield. Because not since Skyrim or Fallout 4 have I played a game like that, and I've been looking forward to having another one. I've been looking forward to playing another one, and I hope that Starfield can be that, right? And so I'm never happy to be like, yeah, man, let's get out the bat. Wham! It's like, you're making me do this. I'm not doing this. You're making me do this. I was looking forward to this game since the first trailer. Yo, see you later, Mo. Yo, it's good, Mr. Lono. Who we making upset today? Everybody, Lion. Everybody. You know how I roll. No matter what I say, they get mad. No matter what I say, they get mad. Oh, $70. Oh, see? That's the question that nobody is asking. Thank you, Ghostface. Nobody is asking that question. And man, oh man, I should have included that in my opening monologue, brother. They increased the retail price of this game up to $70. Why? Do you see a $70 game here? I don't. I don't see a $70 game here. Now, I'm not even going to use the IGN footage. Hang on a second. Let me actually give you guys some of the footage that they put out themselves. All right? I want you guys to see this. Oops, I scrolled down a little bit. There we go. Does this look like... I'm be honest. Does this look like they oh, yeah. We increased the price of Redfall and Starfield to $70. It's a $70 game. Do you honestly think the gameplay they've shown thus far is a $70 game? I don't. That's not even hate. I agree with Tree. I see a $40 game. I see a $40 arcade, play with your buds game. And you know what? I'll do you one better. I kind of feel the same way about Kill the Justice League. I think Kill the Justice League is going to have a really hard time convincing people it's a $70 game. I think that $70 price point is going to be a tough evolutionary change for games like this that are landing below. Like, what's the point of this ability? What are they doing? Are they crossing a gap? They're just like, again, so many of the abilities just feel like they're just for show. I know it can get you up on buildings and stuff, so I know there's tactical reasons to use it. Again, I don't think they're doing the greatest job showcasing the abilities, because even the people who have played it have said the abilities are not amazing. Montage, $70. No montage, $30. So, okay. So you think that the Redfall gameplay montage convinced you it's worth $70? God of War Ragnarok or Redfall? Tough choice, isn't it? That's facts. How do you see that mesh deformation? Oh, hey, yo, did you see that mesh deformation? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Kill the Justice League should be free to play. I don't know about that. I know they have live service. Aspirations, so maybe. How long is the game supposed to be? I might pay $70 for a short game with great gameplay and graphics, or a long game with great gameplay and okay graphics. This seems like neither. Again, somebody wanted a recap. So basically, I'll give you a very quick recap. I walked through and I talked about the IGN footage. I talked about the montage that was sort of put together as a response. And then I also talked about the 5 reasons why I think the game looks bad. I walked through FOV and game speed, gun handling and impact, movement and abilities, execution, and it feels like Left 4 Dead. Okay? Now, FOV and game speed. I said the game feels claustrophobic and cramped. I think the FOV is too zoomed in. Keep in mind, this is footage on Bethesda's YouTube channel, and it just feels the same as the other footage we got. It's just this slow, plodding, I don't get it. It's supposed to be intense, maybe. And again, the FOV and the game speed, it just feels slow. It feels claustrophobic. Now, when I talked about gun handling and impact, you can see some of what I'm going to talk about right here. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of impact from the weapons. Number one, I don't know why they're obsessed with hip firing their weapons, but they hip fire the dadgum weapons. Enemies don't seem to respond, and then animations for death are sort of prefab, or they just sort of flop on the ground, right? The impact and the gun handling, I also think, just falls kind of flat. Movement and abilities just kind of feel generic. I don't really understand the point of some of them, and even some of the previews have basically confirmed that the abilities in the skill trees are not that elaborate. That's not necessarily a need in a game like this, but it's something they've been kind of selling the game on. And executions, again, they don't seem like they make any sense. Like, why would I do them? There doesn't seem to be a tactical benefit in executing something. But the enemies got this, like, brain-dead AI that just kind of allows you to slowly walk around and stab something in and just keep on moving. And nothing really is, you're never really in danger. Even this exchange right here. I just want you to watch this exchange, all right? You go into a room. This is on Bethesda's YouTube channel. You pick this thing up. Oh gosh, I get that, and then this is their tactical choice to just leave the room, run, and turn around. I don't understand. I don't understand. They thought that was good footage to show. Claustrophobic, really tight, like everything feels cramped, and they just sort of turn and run out of the room. I don't get it. And then again, the gunshots don't seem to do anything. There's like no impact. This is from Bethesda's own YouTube video. Why would you stab a vampire with a wooden stake in a vampire game? Is that a real question? Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the tactical advantage. The enemy like stops and is just like sitting there, and you go up and get to execute him. Why not just shoot him? They go up and execute him, and it's like it doesn't seem to offer any tactical advantage. Whenever the enemies glow in Doom and you go up and execute them, there's like a tactical reason. You get stuff back. If that's in this game, then I actually think that's cool. I haven't seen that displayed yet. Barrier says the lift ability is to access rooftops and different entry points. It's in line with Arkane's game philosophy of engage and encounter in multiple ways. Right, and that's fine. That's fine. Hilly says, it looks like 40 or 50 to me over here on Kick. What's the Bluebird ability do? I'm not sure. I think it goes up and like pecks them and like attacks the enemy. Cowboy says $70 is going to be the standard price for a AAA game, so I don't think saying a game shouldn't be $70 is just a console war thing. If the graphics are good and it's by a big studio, it's a $70 game. I don't disagree with you, Cowboy. I have been in general support of AAA games having their price go up because of the size of the games, the scope of the games, the budgets, etc. I pointed to the difference between The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, right? Breath of the Wild is 1,000 times larger and bigger and more expansive than Ocarina of Time could ever be. Ocarina of Time could be contained into like maybe one fifth of that map, 1/6 of the map of Breath of the Wild, maybe. And I just think that in that realm, I'm okay with game prices going up. Here's the problem with Redfall, okay? Here's the problem with Redfall. Redfall was delayed into this year, and then Microsoft announces that they're going to be increasing the price of this in Starfield to $70. Do you see what I mean by the guns? The guns just lack impact. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like a punchy game. I watched the Witchfire footage, and I feel like every gun looks incredible. Every gun looks like a gun I would want to use, and this just looks like a bunch of generic military guns that just sort of like they tickle the enemies. This footage is bonkers, and the IGN reel definitely doesn't jive with the paid shills narrative. They did the game dirty. Right. To me, I just felt like they were trying to show the game off, but they were also experimenting, and they forgot to like go back through. Another example of this is in Bethesda's own footage. I don't understand. Let's just ask the question. What is this guy doing? This is on Bethesda's YouTube channel. I'm scrolling down. Look, this is Bethesda's footage. This guy teleports and goes, bam, 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 bam. Wait, I need to reload. Bam, 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 bam. I'm hip firing, and the enemy barely responds to being shot. You're point blank. You're point blank with the giant gun, and the enemy just kind of stands there like he's being tickled. Why is that in the foot? Why did he do that? I'm telling you, there's something off. There is something off with this game, bro. It just goes up. He goes up there. Shoot. Oh, I forgot to reload. Hang on a minute. You know? It just doesn't make any sense, man. There are plenty of new games that launch at $30, $40, and $50 in this market of $70 standard. So the devs don't need to make every game $70. They just choose to or are told to. Well, I would imagine that Bethesda's not in charge of the game prices of Redfall and Starfield. That's something that Microsoft is probably dictating. Yo, it's good to see you in the chat feed. Vampires don't feel pain. Okay. Have you ever watched movies where they're fighting against vampires and they use guns because it massively stuns them, knocks them back, and slows them down? Right? And everybody's been using this one. Everybody's been using this shot here. They're like, Forespoken looked bad. Oh boy. Oh my. Yeah. Hopefully the fun factor of this game is really high and people enjoy playing it, and this video we won't remember, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully, cowboy. That's why I added or are told to, right, Solemn? Right? Is there a screen I'm not seeing? If you are watching on the Tickety Talk, just today they pushed out I Got Studio, so I'll be able to stream to you horizontal full studio view, and you'll be able to see when I switch scenes and show gameplay. I didn't set that up today. That's coming. They just gave me that today. So right now I'm streaming on YouTube, I'm streaming on Kick, and I'm streaming to you. And it's really, really hard for me to look at all three. So I'll have two chats. I'll have a Kick and a Tickety chat kind of combined into one through Restream, and then I'll have my YouTube chat. And then obviously Discord. Someone tell that to Buffy. The details interface, insane. At least it's going to be on Game Pass as Bower Socks. That's how I ended my opening monologue. I said this is going to be a great game for Game Pass for all the wrong reasons. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. First coffee order of the day. It's me, Bernie, grabbed 3 bags of light roast, and one of those bags of coffee was free. He used the buy one, get one code as a member. It's in our members only Discord. Become a member today for $5. Listen, I would love to see the remaining 10 members here, folks that have been watching and enjoying this show regularly. If you can afford a $5 membership, it covers you for the entire month. You get a badge, you get emotes, you get in my members-only Discord, you get this great deal on the coffee. I do streams on Friday night with my wife. Today, we're going to debrief about my AI in gaming video about monetization. That's just for members. It's like a behind-the-scenes discussion. You can't be a part of that unless you're a member, so consider jumping in today. Really generous people have gifted already 65 today, getting us back closer to 2,500 members. Hilly says, I didn't see any vampires with sparkles. Imagine the Twilight DLC. At least the enemy followed the player. In the IGN footage, were they playing co-op? Yes, they were. That's why they were able just to kind of run around and nothing happened to them. Redfall is giving me back for blood vibes. Something just seems empty or not there. I actually agree with you. I said that in my show opening monologue. I said it just feels like another Left 4 Dead game. And I hate to say that. That just isn't fair. They're stepping into a genre that's pretty oversaturated and is, you know, we've seen a lot of games in this avenue, and it's hard to distinguish yourself in that vein. It is. I saw the coffee sale started the day after I cleaned out the dark roast. We had it planned for April. That was not on purpose, Zubair. It's going to get praises for the wrong reasons. At the same time, games make gaming generations, not acquisitions or legal talk. This is why Xbox keeps falling short, says SDO. Hey, KVAX is going to jump in for their second month. Congrats on that blue badge. Thank you for jumping back in and renewing your membership. I appreciate that so much. Renewals don't count. This is a daily new member goal. So when you renew, I love you. But this is purely for me to be, I gift every 25. I can't gift 5 members every 25 if we include renewals. That wouldn't work. I'd be gifting so many members every day. Why did I get an ad in between? I'm not running any ads. Wait, did you guys just suddenly get an ad? I didn't run an ad. Are they doing that without my permission? That's going to be really irritating if that's the case. I don't ever do that. Microsoft can't price their big first-party games below $70. They're relying on that price to convey value for Game Pass. I think that's a fair point, Eugene. Hey, that's a great reason to get on Game Pass. All these games are $70, and instead of having to buy Redfall at $70 and Starfield at $70, you can just get it on Game Pass. It's a great way to funnel people to your Xbox Game Pass games funnel. How long before they make this free to play? I don't think they'll make it free to play. Okay, nobody else got ads. Okay, it might have just been a hiccup. Maybe your phone or your desktop refreshed or something. Google Chrome turned on this thing that you might have to turn off. It's like disabling inactive tabs. So I wonder if you left and came back and it refreshed the tab and gave you an ad or something. I don't know. The lacking of visual impact is a big miss. That's what I'm saying, Lance. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not. I was excited about this game, and the guns, there's just no impact. It's like they're always tickling the enemy, and they're always hip firing. I don't get that. The few times that I've seen the guns pulled up and aimed, that's called ADSing, aim down sight. The few times that we've seen ADSing, I think that the guns look pretty good. And that obviously hides the fact that there's very little impact on the enemy. You see the fact that there's very little impact on the enemy when they hip fire because there's nothing else to see. You just see the enemy getting hit by bullets and just kind of standing there. It's 100% a great way to get players. Value of Game Pass is good, but that isn't what Game Pass is meant for, says SDO. Give us great games for a monthly subscriptions, not just games no one will buy. Well, but that's not what Eugene and I were saying. What we were saying is, if you look at Game Pass as a great place to get first-party Xbox titles that are valued at $70 a piece, that communicates a lot of value to the Game Pass subscription funnel. My point is, many people will look at this game and be like, that's not a $70 AAA game. It seems like a throwaway arcade game. Are you going to play this game for sure? Oh, definitely. Thank you, Lono, by the way, for the stream. Listening to this makes me want to throttle my coworkers less. Not completely dissuading me, but definitely lessening the desire. Well, keep it under a lid, Lance. You know what I'm saying? It actually shows, it takes more strength to show restraint. So, it's a way to become a stronger person, Don't throttle them. Our brains need cues to understand the action. The impact is a cue, says Zubair. Yeah, under the heading of player feedback. So I'm not talking about players providing feedback. I'm talking about feedback provided to the player. So when you're playing a game and your gun goes, you reload it and you shoot, it's and that sound lines up with the animation. Instead of being like clink, clink, right? You're like ka-choom, ka-choom, ka-choom. There's a rise and a fall in the audio. There's a rise and a fall in the gun. There's a gun flare coming off. There's little bullets going bling, bling, flying over your shoulder, like layered audio. And then you reload. You're like, and then you bring the gun back up. All of those little microcosmic pieces of feedback, they tickle parts of your brain. And it creates this immersion point of, this gun is strong. This attack is cool, right? And I think when you don't see that in a trailer, sometimes once you play the game, you'll have a different experience. I will 100% concede that point. you may end up playing the game like, oh no, the gun impact and the player experience and the player feedback is actually pretty good. But in my experience, I can watch trailers and very quickly see, yeah, there's just something missing. There's just something missing. And we said this about Gotham Knights. We said this about the original Halo Infinite trailer. We've said this before. I want you to watch the Witchfire trailer. If you watch the Witchfire gameplay trailer, you will see guns that immediately make you say, oh, I want to use that. They've mimicked a lot of what I think makes Destiny guns feel so good. The Witchfire gameplay and the gunplay looks phenomenal. And in this game, there is something flat, there's something non-impactful about the guns. Now, the guns are a little bit generic. I don't think that helps them. So there, he's using his ability. So this again is where the game, I think, makes me think about, and reminds me of Borderlands a little bit. So, that the pistol doesn't need to do that much. It's just a silenced pistol and he's landing headshots. I don't expect that much player feedback and that much impact from this gun. It's the other guns throughout the various gameplay samples that we have that I feel like they do virtually nothing to the enemies. Underwhelming is a good word. Yo, what's good, JC? Halo Infinite feels amazing. Yeah, but I was actually talking about how initial trailers can set a tone, and then when you play the game, it can be different than that. Like, the initial trailers for Halo Infinite were considered pretty terrible, and then when you played the game, the gunplay actually did feel pretty good. Halo's problem was a mountain of missing features and a disastrous multiplayer launch, right? All right, here's a great sample. He's going to jump down here, right? He shoots that guy and he pops. That's not a big deal. Shoots that guy, no response. Then there's a response. Shoots that guy, dead. There is something flat about so much of the gun impact. That's just one example. There's other examples from other footage where the enemy just stands there. The same could be said for the abilities. I showed footage of like an ability. You can say the IGN player is really, really dumb all you want. Let me just show you. During the opening sequence of the IGN footage, this is another thing I talked about. It's not just the guns that lack impact, it's the abilities, right? So he throws that down, tickle, tickle, tickle. He's like, all right, let's do the big one. Huge animation, wah, 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 wah. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And all of this here, now, yes, the player's playing stupid, but when they decide to shoot, again, it just... there's no impact. There's nothing. It doesn't seem like you're doing anything. The enemy seems oblivious. Now, somebody might say, oh, it's a mini boss, it's a boss. Okay, that's fine. You still have to have measurements of impact. Sven says, where is the recoil on the gun? Where's the weighty feel and look of the gun? There's nothing there. Yes, that's another element of why the guns, as I said in my show open, the guns feel like just big toasters that don't do anything. They don't do anything. He's just going to shoot this guy from behind. Oh, he staggers at the very end. He staggered at the very end, but that was after he shot him and like nothing was happening. Numbers were just popping up. And obviously the player's playing like a moron. He gets the guy close to death and just runs away. I don't know if they were trying to share in the glory, so they were getting enemies low health and letting their players do stuff. I don't know. No stagger, doesn't slow him down. Dude just walks through it like nothing happened. This looks like the Deathloop gameplay. Hilly says, why the frick does the blue stick ability do? Oh, what does it do? The vampire just kept walking. It's supposed to be like a UV light blast. I'm fairly certain. Even the big bosses in Destiny get staggered. Here's the thing, B4110. If it's a really big, strong boss, they don't have to get staggered every time you shoot them. That would be kind of ridiculous, right? Because you're going to shoot them a lot, and if every time you shoot them they're getting staggered, they would kind of look crazy, okay? However, the guns have to give you a sense of power. So watch this gun. Obviously, they play poorly and they miss. You can barely tell the gun is shooting. You can barely tell the gun is shooting. Like, we don't have sound, which is a good test, I think, of gun impact. Right? Nothing. Again, I don't expect the boss to be like, oh, like, in those old movies where they get shot and they're like, I don't expect the I don't expect the boss to do that. I don't. But the gun, you can barely tell the gun is shooting. Yeah, Spy Who Swags, there's no reason for us to talk about that. Did the developers watch IGN playing the game? I have no idea. Even if the gameplay itself looked better, the graphics themselves look pretty dated to my eyes. Surely that's not just me. I would say yes, but I would also probably defend this game against graphical criticisms. And here's why. Well, I'm going to defend some of it, and I'm not going to be able to defend all of it, because some of it actually looks pretty bad. Yeah, some of this looks pretty bad. So, True Witty with a $2 tip. YouTube never alerted me of your vid. It's silly. With great reason to be in the Discord or follow me on Twitter. You'll never miss a stream. All right. At one level, I want to defend the game because I don't think a game like this needs to sell itself on high-fidelity graphics. I don't think that's needed for every single game, okay? However, I do think there's elements of this game that look bad. It looks poor. It looks lacking in texture. It looks kind of flat. And I agree. I think it looks a little bit dated, right? I'm not going to say that it looks bad because, again, I think within this game genre, I don't expect the game to look, because that actually is a cool animation. The character doesn't look that great, but then the animation's pretty cool, right? I chalk the graphics up to art style decisions. Yeah, I do. I think a lot of the graphics are an art style decision. I think the graphics look good. They're not bad, but they're also not, they're not incredible. And that I think is fine for this game type. I do. Maybe this is going to sound dumb, says, whoa, the Remista. Oh, no, whoa there, Mista. Whoa there, Mista. Staggering in reactions are like a passive. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not sure what the deal is. I don't exactly know what they're going for. Like, if they gave IGN... I want you to think about this with me for just a second. They gave IGN a vertical slice, and the vertical slice they gave IGN is, this area or maybe more, and they're fighting this guy with weapons and abilities that don't seem to do anything. Ignore the fact that the player is playing like a bonehead. Just watch some of the things that happen, and I think there are legitimate questions to ask. Why is the AI so stupid? Why do the guns barely seem to have any impact or good player feedback? Why is the enemy, clumsily following them, right? Is it because of 4 players and it's having a hard time tracking the aggro? That's probably a fair pushback. Like, it's one enemy, there's 4 people, he shows up to this door, and the player's just struggling to play with any semblance of intelligence. But again, if you watch what's happening, like, why did they do that? Right? They did that, and then they didn't use it. Maybe they were anticipating needing to teleport. And now look, all the players are dead. They did a cut there. Because both his player teammates are dead. Two of the people right there are down. Like, what are they doing? Newtonian with a $2 tip. Looks last gen to me at best. Better run at 120. I have 450 hours in Outriders with the Pyro, says Thrifty. If Outriders didn't have the bugs at launch, it would have been a massive success. Yeah, maybe. I didn't like Outriders' sound design, at all. I thought it was pretty bad. Enemies being in close combat seems to be showing the faults of the game's AI, says Josh. How do I advance with ascension points? It won't let me. Oh, he's asking an Outriders question. This gives me Call of Duty Zombie vibes, especially the Cold War version of it, which was fun for a spell, but dull. Cowboy says, my issue with Redfall graphics is it looked good, but I would have preferred a vampire game more realistic graphics so I could take it more serious of a vampire game. Missed my reply. It looks smooth, like an old gen skin wrap GameCube game or something. I can appreciate the art style, but this doesn't look like this gen version of that. I understand what you're saying. And you're referencing Immortals Phoenix Rising. It looks less gen at best. Better run at 120. Oh, I already read that. Thank you, Newtonian, for the $2 tip. If you guys are enjoying the show and the breakdown, like, I'm trying not to hate on this game, but I'm also just trying to do basic observation of... I'm trying to understand why people are having... Wait a minute. Was that a Steam achievement that popped? Isn't that a... That's a Steam achievement. Okay. Well, I have more questions. I have buddy, I have more questions. I need to understand something here. Hang on a second. My brain's having a hard time. My brain is having a hard time. So you gave a vertical slice to IGN of your first party Xbox Game Pass exclusive, and they're playing on Steam. Are you good? Are you good? What are y'all doing? It doesn't even look that good. The FOV's terrible. The graphics are flat and muted. And I thought, well, it's an art style thing. This is PC footage. Bro. I need a second bat. What is happening? This is supposed to be Xbox Game Pass first game of the year directly from them, right? Now, we got Hi-Fi Rush. Cool. Hi-Fi Rush was great. This is supposed to be the game. Why in the frick did you send a vertical slice to IGN and it's Steam, bro? What? Can we go back and start over? Yeah, let's just start the show over. I'll get my stinger ready. Redfall gameplay is in a shambles, and now breaking news, it has just been discovered that the closed footage that they sent to IGN, the vertical slice, is actually playing on Steam. This Xbox first-party title that's supposed to debut on Game Pass day and date is apparently being showcased only with PC footage. Don't forget that everybody who went to the preview event was not allowed to use any of their recorded footage, only pre-approved B-roll. What the frick? What the frick is going on? Bro. Would a vertical slice have achievements? Yeah, it's probably just baked in. Eugene says, okay, to be fair, it's probably easier to provide a PC slice than a console slice. That said, still effing stupid. It's a real bad look, bro. That's a bad look. This is supposed to be... This is a Game Pass game, baby. Xbox first party. Game Pass game. What are you doing? Why are you showing me Steam gameplay? Hey, I tell you what you could do. Why don't you show me Xbox gameplay? To be fair, Xbox first party is Steam as well, but yeah, I agree it should be on the console. That's what I'm saying. Listen. If I'm coming from the mindset, I'm gonna try and get into the mindset of the hardcore Xbox gamer, okay? I love Phil Spencer. I went, hang on. I went full. Let me try again. If I try to get into the mindset of the hardcore Xbox player, wouldn't you be a little miffed and feel like, wait a minute, why are you showing me Steam gameplay? I want to see Xbox gameplay. I own an Xbox. I own a Series X. I own a Series S. That's how they sound. Like, if that's what you do, if that's what you got, if that's who you cheer for, wouldn't you want to see Xbox gameplay? Bro, what are you going to do with Starfield? What are you going to do with Starfield? I don't want to see PC gameplay of Starfield. I want to see Xbox gameplay of Starfield. I bought your box. I'm in your ecosystem. This is a Game Pass game. Let me see some Xbox gameplay. I don't care how it runs on Steam. Oh, can we get, oh no, it's Alex in here? Can we get it? Can you get him on the phone? He's doing a thigh workout. We need, oh no, it's Alex. He's got to weigh in on this because he loves making fun of the PC Master Race boys, but you gotta see this as odd. Why are you showing me PC gameplay? Why? Are you gonna be okay? I'm fine. I don't know why you're spamming that question. It's not that important to say that many times. Apparently this is a revelation to you. When the TV app can't handle it. What did I do? What happened? What did I do? Do I have Discord muted? Okay, good, I do. What did you record here? What's gonna happen? Behemoth hit 25 months of members. Hey, Lono, keep up the good work. Thank you. Can you recap? Oh, golly. I'm just gonna put you in timeout. I don't understand how you act really strange in chat sometimes. Lono, it's just gameplay to them. Can you recap? All right, I'm gonna do my best to give you a recap. I tell you what you can do for me. If you guys want to recap, I'd love to see some members. The final frame, yeah. That zoom is too good. Listen. If I'm gonna do a recap, I want to see some members, and I want them to be new members, not gifteds. All right, show me some love. Hit that $, hit that join button. Let me see where you're at. Where are you at? Right? You only cry, man. See other gameplays. Guns have recoil. Okay, I only cry. Thanks for stopping by. Be sure to check out all of my other videos where I only cry. Three and four, videos every other day. Multiple live streams a day of nothing but crying. I've run out of tissues. I'm actually looking for a sponsor with Kleenex, so make sure and check out my other content on your way out the door. Okay, here's your recap. The Redfall gameplay that was receiving criticism over the weekend was apparently on the Steam. It was not an Xbox game that they were playing. It was not an Xbox install game, which I believe is kind of weird, given that this is an Xbox Game Pass game and a first-party Microsoft title. I don't know why you're sending a vertical slice of the Steam version, but here we are. So the FOV and the graphical disappointments about the game, seemingly maybe they didn't want to soup anything up on Steam. I could actually concede that and could see, okay, well, hey, don't go and turn all that stuff up on Steam, because if you do, then, you're going to be representing the game in a way that maybe the Xbox players can't experience. Like, let's just say there's no FOV slider on Xbox, or let's just say there's no FOV slider on the Series S, because, the Series S is a toaster in disguise. I would say that the gameplay footage was pretty disappointing. Now, the IGN footage, the Redfall IGN first gameplay, was criticized, and a lot of people sort of came to the defense of the game and said, hey, the player played in kind of a stupid way. The player, played in kind of an unintelligent way. And I actually agree with that. I think the gameplay footage is bad for a variety of reasons. It is bad because of the player, but it's also bad because of the game. I do think their bad, muddled gameplay actually shows us some things about the game that I find to be worrisome. One of those is gun impact and abilities impact, right? And you'll see right here an ability do virtually nothing. There's a big, huge wind-up in an animation, and it seemingly does nothing. And for some strange reason, everybody that plays this game thinks that hip-firing guns is the best way to use them, and the enemies seemingly don't respond to being shot, like, at all. Now, yeah, it's a strong enemy, but still, there's almost, no response to getting shot. So I broke down the reasons that I think the gameplay is bad. Even if you look at the montage, there was a montage that got put together on Twitter, and it started making the rounds, and that's fine. Good for you. You put together a montage. So I actually watched the montage over and over and over again, and I came up with 5 categories to sort of put some meat on the bones. Instead of just saying the game looks bad, I said, let's talk about the reasons why it looks bad. And I came up with 5 categories, and I only got these categories from rewatching the montage footage over and over again. So let me actually pull open the montage footage, okay? I want to pull that open because I actually think that that's incredibly important to see, because this is what I got my observations from, all right? And I even said, this footage is supposed to look better, and I'm just not seeing it, okay? Okay, so there you go. There's the montage right there. So I watched this on a loop, and I came up with these 5 categories. Let me thank some people. B-Rex with 2 months of members. I'm so confused about why Microsoft refuses to show gameplay on the console. If you're going to show PC gameplay, at least put it above medium settings. Keck, True Witty with a $2 tip. To be fair, Lono, Microsoft rarely talks Xbox, just Game Pass. Okay, well, still. All right, so this footage right here is what I watch. And here's the 5 categories that I came up with, okay? FOV and game speed, gun handling and impact, movement and abilities, executions, and Left 4 Dead. Let me quickly go through those 5 categories for you in this recap. Nobody has become a member yet, so I feel really unappreciated. Number 1, FOV and game speed. There is a zoomed in and claustrophobic feel to the FOV that makes the gameplay movement and speed feel incredibly slow and cramped. Even in the Bethesda footage on their official YouTube channel, there's just strange things going on in hallways and movement choices that don't feel fast or intense. What you're watching right now is supposed to be the most intense and best version of Redfall. This is from all of the B-roll. This was put together. This is not somebody's raw recorded gameplay. This is B-roll footage that has been smashed together. And I just feel that the gameplay and the FOV leads to a very cramped, slow, plodding feel. I don't think it looks or feels that great. Now, the second thing I talked about, gun handling and impact, right? Gun handling and impact. The guns themselves, I don't think, provide great feedback. They're often being hip-fired. The impact on the enemies breaks down into 3 categories. You just saw one of them, which is insta-ragdoll. They just fall to the ground, insta-ragdoll. They just fall down. The other is they completely ignore you. There's another just instant ragdoll. They just kind of ignore you. They ignore you, and they act as if they're not being shot. And the third category for being shot is they sort of dissolve. Now, that was one section where the enemy did respond to being shot in a decent way. It's one of the few times where you see some impact. Let me rewind that. He uses a shotgun, and he kind of stuns the guy back, okay? That's probably one of the few times where I noticed pretty good impact on the guns, but 90% of the time, there's another instant ragdoll. They're just not good impact from the guns. They're just sort of dissolving in front of you. Right, and then there's an execution. I believe that the movement and the abilities also have this sort of slow, plodding, non-impactful feel. A lot of the abilities seem to be in the game purely for show and not for impact, right? They don't seem to be, like right here, that's just kind of for show. If there's nobody left to do it, I guess you don't get up here. You need what's-her-face to do her elevator thing, right? So movement and abilities, I just think feel kind of generic and non-impactful. And I think executions are kind of center stage, and they kind of don't make much sense. There doesn't seem to be tactical benefits to running up to an enemy, closing that gap to execute them, but the brain-dead AI seems to leave lots of room on the battlefield for that. You're not really getting interrupted. See, right there is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So right here, right, enemy is basically dead. Enemy is dead. And I'm going to make the tactical decision to expose myself to this hallway and this hallway here. Why? To execute the enemy. We don't know. There's no real explanation as to why, but I'm going to. That enemy is basically dead. And so I run forward and I execute them. And lo and behold, keep in mind, this is from the montage. This is from B-roll. Now that I'm done executing that enemy, here's this genius. He's standing here doing literally nothing. He is a mannequin waiting to die. Again, you've created game flow that's boring. What was the point of closing that gap and pulling off that execution? You don't really see any reason to do it. He just does it. He runs all the way up there and he kills them for seemingly just the beauty of it, not the function of it. And then this guy's just standing here waiting to die. Doesn't shoot, and then just dies, right? So again, the reason that your instincts are, this looks pretty boring, is because you played this game before and there's like missing pieces, okay? There's missing pieces. It's like, oh, I can execute him. Yeah, let me go execute him. I see nothing on screen that you benefit from. No abilities, nothing. Just kaplunk, right? Your health doesn't go up. None of your abilities go up. You just execute him. And then this guy is quite literally standing still waiting for you. This is why the game and the gameplay feels like it lacks intensity. It feels like there's a slowness. It feels like there is a plodding nature to it. It just, oh, he did shoot. He shot once. He shoots once right past you. Woo. Yeah. That again adds to the feeling that the enemies are just stupid and waiting to die. He doesn't even shoot you. There's just a lack of intensity. There's a lack of, and everything's getting hip fired. I don't understand. I truly don't understand. Which brings me to my last point. It feels like another Left 4 Dead. And I know a lot of people throw that around, and I know that's sort of being like the cheap shot right now, like, oh, it's just a Left 4 Dead clone. But I feel like that's generally the problem, is they're creating a game that we've kind of already experienced before, and you need to really iterate on that. If you don't iterate or evolve that beyond what we've experienced before, many people are saying what I'm saying. Doesn't really look like it's worth $70. They can only be killed with a stake to the heart or UV light. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If that's a gameplay requirement, JC, that I've got to stun the vampire down to where I have to go stake them in the heart, that decision should be challenged. And it isn't challenged. The numerous times that I see people do executions in this game, the enemies are just standing around waiting to die. There's just that lack of intensity. It's like, what's the point? And the UV light, I guess he uses it in the one part. Are you supposed to wait until they're low health? I don't understand. He uses it at the very, very beginning of this footage, and it doesn't seem to do anything in the IGN footage. I don't understand. Are you supposed to save it for their death? What's good, Josh? Look at that. Just nothing. No impact. The PlayStation exclusives get so much hate. Remember when a bunch of Xbox fans review bombed God of War? Literally an insane game getting hate. I don't really care to entertain the idea that here was my favorite comeback yesterday. This was my favorite comeback. You guys want to see my favorite comeback? This was my absolute favorite. Let's just take a peek at the way that people were responding to, what I consider to be legitimate concerns, right? It's like, man, the game looks kind of slow, right? So I said, let's just track with the logic of defending Redfall. People are saying, well, that's slow gameplay. That's not representative of the gameplay. I mean, how do you know that? How? Well, here's a montage of approved clips from the developer. Okay, even with the approved montage, even with a bunch of like really, really sort of hyped up moments, it still kind of looks slow and boring, right? And the response was, this was the response I got. I'm not even going to show the person's Twitter handle because everybody's going to accuse me of targeting, because I responded to this person and I got accused of attacking them. I quote tweeted them and said it was an own goal. And the jimmies and the sensitivity of the Xbox crowd is so sensitive, they claimed I was attacking this person. And here's what they basically said. They said, well, all these third-person action-adventure games from PlayStation are slower. Okay, what's funny to me is I want to zoom out, and I don't want this person's handle to show. Let me open up the image in a new tab. I don't want their handle to show. I'm not giving them any ammunition to claim, this guy is attacking people. Blah, you big freaking babies. All right, none of these games, like this image is circulating as a way to sort of like make it seem as though that like the idea being like, oh, all PlayStation games are the same. This image is circulating for that reason, right? Because when I play Death Stranding, it feels exactly like the really challenging, super intense fights in God of War Ragnarok. And when I'm running from a horde of zombies in Days Gone, like, it feels exactly like Horizon Forbidden West. And The Last of Us, like the slow survival scavenging elements of The Last of Us, it feels just like Uncharted, right? Like, this image is circulating in an effort to sort of, this is the response. This is the new console war. This is the new console war. Hey man, Redfall looks pretty mid. Redfall is kind of average. I'm seeing a lot of problems with the gameplay. The AI looks brain dead. The guns don't look that impactful. Oh yeah? Well, look at the PlayStation games. Just look at them. Look, they're all third person. And I can't play them because my mom won't buy me a PS5, so I'm going to pretend they're all the same. The frick is wrong with you? What do these 6 games have to do with Redfall? All these games feel like Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, these are all Ratchet and Clank. There are 5 Game of the Year nominations in that picture. Yeah. 5 out of 6 of these games are Game of the Year nominated games. But they're all the same. They're all the same. Straw man argument? Whataboutism's in full effect? I'm not making a straw man. This was the response I got. I pointed out issues that I kind of had with Redfall, and that's the response I get. Well, the PlayStation games. What the frick does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? I wonder if the next time a game is getting criticized that I love, if I I'll just invoke Nintendo games. Well, but Nintendo games, what does that have to do with anything? I don't understand. Yeah, can confirm God of War and Spider-Man feel the same. Yeah, they're basically the same game. Yeah. Oh, you meant the people saying this to you as a straw man, not you. Yeah. It's just a giant distraction. To me, it's really telling if your instinct in defending this footage, let's just track with what happened, right? You want a pony? I'll give you one. I'm gonna turn around and kick you in the face on my way out the room, okay? You want one? You got one. The response to this gameplay is initial rejection of, no, the game can't possibly be bad. Why? Why is that your instinct? So what's the response? We saw 2 responses. One response was, let's make a montage from pre-approved B-roll because the game developer didn't allow anybody to actually use their recorded footage. Gee, I wonder why. I really, really wonder why. Look at the screen and you might find out. So that's the first response. Let's run to a montage. Let's make a montage from pre-approved footage. Oh, and the other thing we're going to do? The other thing we're going to do is we're going to mention PlayStation games. What does that have to do with anything? What's that have to do with anything? What do PlayStation games have to do with Redfall? They couldn't find 6 Xbox games with which to make the argument. Sorry. Like, for real. That's your two responses. When gameplay comes out and we analyze it and we decide whether or not the game looks good or bad. We did this with Gotham Knights. We did this with Halo Infinite. We did this with Kill the Justice League. We've done this with plenty of games. We did it with Starfield. Really, really smart people analyzed the Starfield footage and said, we're looking at like 4 different vertical slices, okay? But the minute we start touching one of the games that's supposed to change the narrative this year for Xbox, it's like we're touching something sacred. Like they're touching something sacred. It's like all of a sudden we have to resort to attack. It's like, why are you attacking me? Oh yeah, let's talk about this one. This is my favorite. Let's talk about this one. Yep. This again is the response. The response to an Xbox game getting criticism. Yeah, does Sony pay you? Yeah. They paid me when I called out their practices with Hogwarts and not giving people the free upgrade on Horizon and their bad marketing with Ragnarok. Yeah. I did entire streams where I criticized Sony even recently. 6 weeks ago, I did a stream where I defended Starfield. Yeah, Sony paid me to do that. I'm sorry your brain's too small for opposing positions that it makes you say silly things. All right, look. This is another thing that's making the rounds. So what they're saying with this image here is they say Xbox games have quality this generation. Oh, these are Xbox games. Huh. Calm down, Tinkerbell. It was a question. It was an accusatory assertive question. You understand that questions can have assertions in them, right? Like, when did you become an idiot? So they've got let's just look at the games. Quake? Why is Quake on here? Why is Quake here? What's going on? Why is Ghostwire on here? What is this? What's happening? Yeah, Halo Infinite is kind of trickery, okay? Halo Infinite's kind of trickery. This 87 is just on the campaign. They did not put the multiplayer on Metacritic for review score. It's not here. So this is kind of cheating. Now listen. I will grant you the 4 up here in the corner. Forza, Hi-Fi Rush, Flight Sim, Psychonauts 2? Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Like, Age of Empires 2, I don't know if you can use that one. I think you can use Grounded. Grounded has been published by Microsoft. That's another one I think you can use. And I can't read this one. What's that? What's this one? That Pentiment game? I forget what that one is. Yeah, Pentiment. I think that's another Xbox game. Some of these I'll give you credit. Excuse me. Some of these I'll give you credit. Like, yeah, Microsoft's had some better games. Now, maybe you should put the release dates. maybe you should put the release dates up for these to show what we're talking about. Like, you know, Deathloop launched as a PlayStation timed exclusive, you know, and Halo Infinite's been out for a while and it's in terrible shape, and 343's on life support. And maybe we should talk about the fact that like Psychonauts 2, Flight Sim, and Forza Horizon 5 came out like 2 years ago at this point. Hi-Fi Rush and Age of Empires are basically your only, you know, recent triumphs. Let's start grabbing all of the actual... And also, this person that put this together is just a liar. They're like, oh, we've had a lot better turnout this generation. And then they screenshot this crap, right? Where's the Horizon with an 88? Where's God of War Ragnarok with a 94? Where are those? Those games came out this generation for PS5. It's interesting that God of War Ragnarok's at a 94, and that's higher than anything over here. And Horizon Forbidden West is at an 88, higher than Halo, higher than Quake, higher than Ghostwire, higher than whatever the heck this is, higher than Grounded, higher than this, higher than this. Wow, it's almost like Horizon Forbidden West is better than virtually all the games up here. Well, what about Marvel's Spider-Man? Miles Morales sitting at an 85. Where's that? Why is that not on here? Why aren't we comparing that? Yeah, where's Returnal? Where's Returnal on this Metacritic, right? Returnal, Metacritic. What did Returnal get on the PlayStation 5? Yeah, Returnal's sitting at an 86. It's kind of weird. Age of Empires is a remake. The original's a PC game. Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, where's Demon Souls remake? 92. Ratchet and Clank's 88. Where? If we're going to compare pound for pound this generation of console, listen, you need to put release dates because that's the biggest thing. Yeah, The Last of Us 2, 96. Yeah, where's Gran Turismo 7, right? Where's GT7? Gran Turismo 7 on the PlayStation 5 with an 87. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. Where's Stray? Where's Stray, the cat game? Where is it? Stray on the PlayStation 5, 83. You're not comparing generations. You've cherry-picked a PC port of The Last of Us, right? The Last of Us Part 1 on PlayStation 5 got an 88. So you're not even comparing the Xbox generation to the PlayStation 5 generation. The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, the actual remake, it got an 88. That's the problem. Everybody just wants to lie. Kena Bridge of Spirits got an 81. So the only way you win this competition is you smuggle in games like Quake and Ghostwire, right? You smuggle these ones in. Even Deathloop, you can't really count this because if you're going to count that one for Xbox, count it where it landed first. It landed on the PlayStation 5 first, and it's got an 88. Count that one first, right? Like this is the basis. This is the basis for your argument. Well, then make a fair comparison and then put the release dates out there. Put the release dates out there. Because if you put the release dates on there, you're going to see that the main problem with Xbox is not that they don't have any good games. They do. It's not a comparison. It shows one has been consistent, the other had a few mids. Wait, which one are you claiming has been consistent, Amos? Which one? Which one? Because you can't count Deathloop or Ghostwire or Quake. You can't even count those. And Halo, putting Halo on there is a joke because Halo Infinite's true test was its multiplayer. It wasn't the frickin' campaign. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima got an 87. The Ghost of Tsushima director's cut for PS5 got an 87. I love that they included cross-gen titles that were in the works before the acquisition. Yeah, you literally have games up here that weren't even first-party titles. They were being developed and then they landed on your platform, like Deathloop and Ghostwire. Yeah, Death Stranding director's cut, 85. Only 3 really count: Flight Sim, Forza, and Hi-Fi Rush. Consistent. I want the answer. I wouldn't list Ghostwire as a game to be proud of. It wasn't that great. Yeah, it's got a 77. Xbox consistently green this gen. Amos, you're in denial, bro. You're in denial. A lot of these games are not Xbox games. What are you even talking about? And if you actually look at the PlayStation 5 games this generation, if you go back, if we're talking about this generation, then you got to go back to Demon's Souls Remake, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon Forbidden West, Miles Morales, God of War Ragnarok, Death Stranding Director's Cut, Tsushima Director's Cut. That's 7. How many do I need to list to match that? What, 12? Last of Us Part 1 gets us to 9. Kena Bridge of Spirits gets us to 10. And I don't know if so we're at 10. 10 games this generation on PS5. Green. The only thing you can mark us down for is, what game even is that? Some All-Stars. I don't even know what game that is. Got a 62. And then The Last of Us, you got to go to the PC port. Yeah, Gran Turismo 7 gets us to 11. Gran Turismo 7 gets us to 11. Yeah, and if you get to claim Deathloop, we get to claim Deathloop. Deathloop landed on the PS5 first. Yeah, Stray. There we go. There's 12 games. 12 games to 12 games. Funny enough, just take Deathloop. We don't need it. That's 11 games that are actual PS5 exclusives. Not an exclusive. Not really an exclusive, right? Can't you get Age of Empires? Is that a first-party title? Or is that just a timed exclusive? I actually don't know. I'm actually in the dark on Age of Empires 2. I don't play those games. Destruction All-Stars. Yeah. So a bad PC port and Destruction All-Stars. That's your comparison. Come on. Why are we doing console wars? I am simply showing that the response, right? Let's compare completion rates now. Yeah, do you guys want to start comparing trophies? Like, if you really want to compare trophies, let's compare completion rates of, like, Xbox games versus PlayStation games. Oh, Age of Empires is first party. Okay, so they get to claim Age of Empires. That's fine. Listen. The only reason I'm highlighting this is, like, this is the narrative. This is the response. Redfall is showing itself to be unimpressive. It doesn't look that great. And the response is to sling mud at Sony. It's like, wait. I have an Xbox Series X, and I was looking forward to Redfall. I'm not allowed to say the gameplay looks disappointing. It doesn't make any sense to me. It would be like going to the electronics store and being like, hey, I bought this Samsung apparatus, and it's supposed to let me do this thing, and it doesn't look like it's working that well. Oh, yeah? Well, Sony stuff breaks too. I don't understand that response. That doesn't have anything to do with my Samsung thing. I bought this, it's a Samsung, and it was supposed to do this thing, and it doesn't look like it's doing it very well. I'm not happy. As an Xbox Series X owner, I look at Redfall and I say, the very first trailer, I covered that trailer a lifetime ago. I said, man, that game looks dope. It looks kind of like Borderlands. It looks kind of like a Left 4 Dead, but with Borderlands. That could be pretty fun. And then when they came out and they said it was a looter, and then they came out and said it was co-op, I got excited. I was like, that sounds really good. Arkane games feel pretty cool. I wasn't a huge fan. I was not a huge fan of Dishonored 1 and 2, but they felt cool. It's a nonsensical response. Doesn't make any sense. It's like we're not allowed to question, like, the gameplay. We're not allowed to. It's like, well, no, if you're going to question this gameplay, you're a Sony pony, and all Sony games are the same. great. I can't wait if Starfield has a single blip of a problem. I can't wait to be playing Starfield and say, like, man, Starfield's really fun. I'm having a really good time with it. There's just this one thing that kind of annoys me. You're a Sony pony! Well, I was just thinking they could, maybe optimize some of the performance and work on some of the frame rate issues. The draw distance seems to be acting up and making it kind of unenjoyable to play. Yeah, your Sony games are all the same. I'm talking about Starfield. I was hoping, like, you won't be able to say anything about Starfield. You'll encounter the same thing. Boycott Activision says, there's no comparison then? No, there's no comparison. I trust Redfall will be good. Arkane games when present don't look impressive, but they're masterpieces when you play them, like Dishonored. Listen. That's the problem, though. I don't think Arkane's on a streak right now. I don't think Deathloop was that great. Let me ask you something. You like Arkane that much? Can we look at your achievements in Deathloop? Seriously. No, I mean that. The people that are like, dude, Arkane don't miss, though. Arkane don't miss. Can we see your achievements in Deathloop? Can we? I'll tell you what. I don't have very many achievements in Deathloop because I thought it was a mediocre game, and I fell out with it very quickly. And for all intents and purposes, I should have loved that game. A loot-based, creative, well-voice-acted rogue? Let's go, baby. Returnal kind of converted me. Let's go. I should have loved Deathloop. I don't have any achievements in that game. So I don't get where this trust in Arkane comes from. At least there won't be a strong woman with a bow as the main character. What are you referring to? Horizon Forbidden West and what, Tomb Raider? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Strong woman with a bow. I believe the last time there was a exclusive on Xbox for that actually was a time exclusive with Tomb Raider. I don't understand. Prey was the last one. I actually thought Prey was really, really good. I thought Prey's difficulty slope was annoying. I was loving Prey, and then all of a sudden it sloped up into just unenjoyable. Last of Us, Tomb Raider. Well, The Last of Us is not just a bow. There's guns, there's scavenging, and it's a completely different play style than the bow in Horizon Forbidden West. Most Sony exclusives. Oh, most Sony exclusives. So you listed The Last of Us and Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's not a Sony exclusive, so Last of Us and Horizon. Most Sony exclusives. Guys, a whopping 2. Woo! A real trend is emerging. What about Returnal? I saw people putting Ghost of Tsushima next to Horizon Forbidden West and The Last of Us because they all have bows out. Just remarkable stupidity. Just remarkable. Ghost of Tsushima? Really? Four samurai melee-based katana stances, but because he has a bow, it's the same as Horizon Forbidden West. Let me do you one for. I'm kind of tired of first-person shooters with guns. So many first-person shooters have guns. Like, every single one. So, Redfall's basically just another first-person shooter. Do you see how reductionist sweeping judgments of a game based on the genre it lands in is like a stupid way to discuss video games? Generally pretty stupid. So according to your way of classifying games, Redfall is entering the most saturated market of all. So who cares about it? Moving to third person makes sense. I'm not sure what you're saying. Can you believe all these driving games? Can you believe these driving games, right? What's the deal with them? You're always in a car. I don't understand. And you're just driving around. It's just, Forza Horizon 5 and then, Forza Motorsport. There you go. 2 driving games. Looks like Microsoft's really in a rut with their exclusives. I just, so much driving. And first-person shooters, I mean, you got Deathloop, you got Halo, and now you got Redfall. It's a real bad trend, Just another shooter. It's kind of predictable, It's too many guns, man. It's like every game they put out, there's just guns in them. I don't get it. Forza's fantastic, though. That's what I'm saying. You can't judge a game's quality simply because it's in the same genre as another game. Right? There are so many first-person shooters out there. I've not once looked at Redfall and been like, just another shooter, because that's a stupid way to talk about a game. Don't you guys hate when FPS games have bullets? It's just a stupid way to literally look at games like Ratchet & Clank, Returnal, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man, and to have the nerve to say, well, they're basically all the same game. Like, nobody should take you serious. Nobody should take you serious at all. Yeah, let's talk about Scorn. Just another game, just another first-person game. Like, you can't do that. I skipped Forza and GT7 because I already had Rocket League. You play one car game, you play them all, yeah. Thanks for sending a pretzel, Night Fury. I may complain about Sony's genre variety, but at least Astrobot was good. Yeah, but here's the thing. If you're gonna innovate within the genre, that's totally fine. No one's looking at Redfall and it's just like, oh, just another FPS on Xbox. Yeah, nobody's doing that. Because that's just a terrible way to talk about a game's value. Like, I literally broke down Redfall within its genre. FOV, game speed, gun handling, gun impact, movement, abilities, executions. That's all within the game's genre. That's getting down into the minutia. If you do that with all of the Sony games, you're going to look stupid because, number one, they probably couldn't do it because they've never played them. Explain to me how Ghost of Tsushima is similar to Horizon Forbidden West. Lay it on me. Well, there's a camera and tall grass and you can sneak around and can I go home? Like, they're not going to be able to answer you. Because have you ever seen those kids books where they want you to match the things over here to this side and you like draw with an arrow? They couldn't do it. Because if you're going to draw a line of connection between like Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Forbidden West, he has a bow. Okay. Third person perspective. Okay. Do you have any gameplay comparisons? Like actual gameplay analysis? Any at all? No? Then shut up. Just shut up. You're not saying anything. Don't make me want to fight robot samurai with a bow and ninja skills. It's like the substance of what made Tsushima great, the reason Tsushima got Game Awards is because they went into a genre and they created something special. It would be like claiming that Lies of P is just another Souls game. Well, you're not going to look at art style, combat mechanics, weapon and build depth. You're not going to look at the enemy fights, the enemy encounters. Are you going to look at the way the world's designed? You're not going to look at any of that? Side note, been playing Jedi Fallen Order on story mode as a refresher for Survivor, and holy pop-in textures, Batman. The game didn't hold up as well as I thought it did. Everybody that says that Jedi Survivor doesn't look that great hasn't played Jedi Fallen Order in a while. Survivor looks miles ahead graphically. Finally, the story platinum in Ghost of Tsushima last night. Yeah, oh my gosh, the story. The story in Tsushima, there's a reason they're turning that into a movie. Is it a movie or a show? I can't remember. I think it's a movie. It's so well told. The tension is beautiful. The idea of, do I hold on to what I know and believe, or do I do what feels right? One feels like it's in tension with the other. And constantly convincing his friends that revenge and vengeance is not the way. So many of them are, as he says at the end of Civil War, vengeance has consumed you. It's such a compelling story. It's so well done. Everybody has a different angle, a different reason to be angry, a different reason to long for revenge against the Mongols. And Jin is trying to straddle both worlds. And the ending is just picturesque. To experience beauty within actual gameplay is a great achievement, and yet we're told, oh, it's just another third-person action-adventure game. It's just like Horizon Forbidden West, because I can post a cute screenshot on Twitter. Yeah, we're not even talking about, Omar, we're not even talking about the innovative ways that Tsushima made the open world feel enjoyable, and clearing the open world didn't feel like a chore. We're not going to talk about how they masterfully created duels, or the original score, or the sound design, or the voice acting. We're not going to talk about any of that. Yeah, it's being directed by the guy who did the John Wick films. Yeah. I just preferred Sony with Jack, Ape Escape, Twisted, Dragoon. I can critique myself. Here's the thing, boycott Activision. The thing that I always find remarkable about the folks that try to claim that, well, they've just become predictable. They used to make these kind of games. Do you ever think that they're responding to the market and demand? You ever think that might be the case? Do you think Sony's future in the next-gen console space would have been equipped well with Jack and Daxter, or whatever it's called, or Ape Escape? So maybe I should go to Xbox and say, listen, man, you guys just keep cranking out these first-person shooters, Deathloop, Halo, Ghostwire, and Redfall. Where's Banjo-Kazooie? Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you've got to leave elements of that generation behind. Where's Banjo-Kazooie? Come on. Like going to PlayStation, being like, hey, can we get a little more, what's his name? Booyah, Grandma. Booyah. What's his name? Dadgummit. His name just ran out of my brain. You have a point. I just think they can do both. Look at Nintendo. I think Nintendo's first-party property is way stronger than anything that Microsoft or Sony ever made with any of those characters. Jack and Daxter, Banjo-Kazooie. What were some of the other ones that people were throwing out? Yeah, Spyro. Dude, Nintendo games kick the snot out of those games. They kick the living crap out of them. They're a joke in comparison. They're responding to the market. And when you look at the sales of their games and the critical acclaim and the award nominations, you just look dumb. You look dumb. That would be like me trying to dismiss Forza. Just another racing game. I ignore the critical acclaim. I ignore the commercial success of Forza. I ignore the award nominations and say, it's just another driving game. It's just another car game. That would be incredibly stupid for me to say that. And the people that say that about Sony games look just as stupid. You're talking about games that are commercially successful. Look at any of the sales charts. Look at the critical acclaim. Look at the review scores. Look at the award nominations. All these games that you say are just another third-person action adventure game for Sony, they're all at the caliber, acclaim, and commercial success of Forza Horizon, if not higher, because I don't know if Forza Horizon came close to something like Spider-Man or God of War with respect to commercial success. Steve with a 19-month VIP membership. I'm just another member, yo. See, the beauty of being able to look at Forza and say, I think Forza is amazing. It's not a game for me. I don't play those kind of games. But for me to be able to look at that, and for me to watch the Forza Motorsport presentation and say, that was phenomenal. Forza is doing good things for Xbox. I can say that because I'm not some weird, insecure console warrior who's like, I gotta cope with the fact that Microsoft has a good game. Like, that, I don't care about that. Oh, it's a great game. Looks awesome. Probably disappointing for the Forza fans to not have a release date, especially after they were promised Forza in the first half of 2023, but the game looks incredible. I think, if anything, Microsoft should learn a valuable lesson. Stop throwing out dates if you can't get them. Just launch really good games. And do some surprises like Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush worked well because nobody was expecting it. Microsoft's learning a valuable lesson in setting expectations. $100. Woo! That's a big super chat tip. Demon Souls and Ratchet & Clank, Icky Island, Tilu's Remake, Final Fantasy VII Returnal, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Kena, Fist, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, Solar Ash. Yeah, sorry, games are all the same. Thank you for $100 super chat tip. Ghost in the Garage Gaming did huge super chats and big gifted members last month. Guys, we've had some huge gifted member bombs today. We're already at 65. Terminal Stupidity is going for the Eknor Award. Whoever gifts the most memberships in a month gets the Eknor Award. We're going to let Eknor live on here. He will be immortal. He won't be with us that much longer. He did let us know he's got a terminal situation, and we wanted to honor him. So the people who gift the most, they end up getting that Eknor Award. And last month it went to Casual Grinder. I missed the re-up yesterday because of the holiday. Show was become a huge part of getting through the workday. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Broken Surprise, for 2 months of memberships. We need 10 more members to hit this goal. Lazy Nerd's going to jump back in. Thanks so much for renewing. What's the current ranking on Gifted? I'm not sure what the current ranking is this month. Usually, Quiet Shy Girl does that for us. So she could give us a tally at the end of every week. Maybe that could be like a Friday thing that we highlight on the Friday night stream with Madam. Which, if you guys are on YouTube in the evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fridays, I play games with my wife, and you guys are missing out. It's a fun time. That's the issue that I have. 18-month contracts is how they don't retain talent. Listen. Even Jez Corden tweeted that he thinks they have a talent retention problem at Xbox. The Joseph Staten thing, I don't even want to talk about it. Yo! Abe comes in with 10, takes us to 75, and then Ghost in the Garage Gaming says, I tell you what, I'll do you one better. I'll drop a 50 bomb. A 50 bomb on chat. If you just got a membership, take advantage of our coffee sale, our holiday blend. We're moving through the inventory. It's marked down to $12.95. Everybody can get that sale, but there's a buy two, get one free just for members. You got to get in the members only Discord. Use the code. It's all the way at the bottom of the Discord. Go down to the coffee room. You got to sync your YouTube with your Discord account. Get Discord installed on your phone. It's really easy to use. It's a great place to be. You won't miss announcements. You won't miss out on extra content. Sometimes I put bloopers in the Discord just for members. Thank you for a 6-month renewal, Lone Wolf, jumping back in. Appreciate the content and the community. Thank you so much. Spam those emotes. Spam those likes. Spam those gifted members. Order those coffees, man. Take advantage of that sale. You can get so much coffee right now for this is the lowest we've ever charged for the coffee. It's never been this low before. 2 weeks ago, these people were mad about the game being canceled on Sony. Okay, Rick, I didn't include that in my show open. I want to address that now. I want to address that now. Because I defended Phil Spencer. Go back and watch. People that call me a Sony pony. When the Redfall stuff came out, I defended Phil Spencer. I was like, Phil did not lie. Phil Spencer did not lie. Okay? And I also said, I get why people are upset. Like, I think it's totally fair. Not Redfall, per se. I don't think being upset about Redfall makes as much sense. I think being upset about Starfield makes more sense. Starfield is a long-awaited game, highly anticipated. They've talked about it a lot. They walk out, start talking about it. Everybody's really excited. Pete Hines openly admits they were never considering exclusivity until the Microsoft acquisition. So I think people have a right to be like, my gosh, what those games were, we were going to be able to play those games and now we can't. But I also agree with people who are like, listen, if you want the exclusives, buy the console. I say similar things about Sony first-party titles, right? First-party exclusives, I think, are good for the industry. I don't necessarily think buying existing property and making exclusive is good for the industry, but I think investing in developers and fostering your own ecosystem and your own property is totally fine. Just sub, salute Reforge. Thank you so much, ACO7. Omar hitting the 12-month milestone. It's a member plus. Thanks for years of consistently great content. Thank you, Omar. Remember, Sucker Punch was created by former Microsoft employees? Oh, really? I would love to track the talent exodus from Microsoft because I actually think it's pretty bad. Dogpile on a game you cannot play? I'm going to play it on my Xbox Series X. Exclusivity drives the industry. Taking games away from platforms by building up publishers is trash. Oh, buying up publishers. Can mention a dozen hitters you can't play? I'm not sure what you mean. I was going to ship Xbox this gen for the first time, but I bought one because I wanted to play Starfield and any future Elder Scrolls games. You bought an Xbox for a game that's not out yet. Yeah, why wouldn't somebody do that? People were really looking forward to Starfield. Like, it's one of those things where you can't have it both ways. You can't brag about Starfield being one of the most anticipated games of the year. It's going to potentially get Game of the Year nominations. It's going to be amazing. And then look at somebody for being like, oh, why would you do that? Why would you buy an Xbox for Starfield? Because it looks freaking awesome. Any fan of Skyrim or Fallout is looking at this game and thinking, I love that formula and that template. Take me to outer space, baby. Roger with 15 months. The love of this generous community always gives me hope for humanity. And a 14-month renewal from Dylan, and he's on a Member Plus, says Reforge is dope. If any of you guys have a standard membership and you want to upgrade it to a Member Plus, it's only $1 more. And you pull yourself out of the member gifting pool. You can't get gifted once you upgrade. We are at 2,405 members. We are 95 members away. We are 95 members away from 2,500 members. Thank you guys so much. The next stream? Okay, I don't have a second stream for the public. There will be a stream for members. Do we have a thumbnail for that? I've got another AI in gaming video I want you guys to help me out with. It's going to go live in a little bit. I think monetization will be drastically changed by AI, machine learning. I'm already writing a script. I'm about 75% of the way done with a script on generative AI and machine learning and what that will do to world creation in video games. Bitrate Brawler says, Reforge Coffee, get his wired as Lono on sale right now. Yeah, go to reforgeroast.com or you can use the command in chat on YouTube. Thank you, Night Fury, for sending Tucker the Turkey. Yo, Shenanigan says, let's keep it going. We need 95 more. He says, I'll give you 5. Or they said they'll give me 5. Thank you so much. When we're done with the AI in gaming video, I'm going to discuss it with members. That's a perk of being a member. Thank you so much, Shenanigans. If you guys are interested in getting that second show and getting that extended discussion, consider becoming a member today. I know. Listen. I'm gonna be 100% transparent with you. A lot of you guys come to YouTube and you're like, I don't understand. Why would I do membership? I don't get it. I don't do that. I don't spend money on YouTube. Consider trying it once. Just try it out once. Plug into this community, get in our Discord, enjoy the extra content, hang out with my wife and I on a Friday night, and maybe you'll see why. Bro Sexy hitting 10 months of memberships and it's a member VIP. Thanks for keeping it real, bro. And yes, I am sexy. Excuse me. Perfect. That's nice. That's real nice, creature. All right, hang on a second. We do have a nice thumbnail for today's stream. So you guys should start seeing that, oh, hey, I'm getting unique content as a member. We're going to start using thumbnails. There we go. AI and gaming monetization discussion members only. Okay. And okay. You guys have 7 minutes to get 20 more members. 7 minutes. 7 minutos. All right, hang on. I'm getting everything ready for you. Never owned a PS3, but I owned all the other consoles. Yeah, I didn't own a PlayStation until the PlayStation 4 Pro. Did not own a PlayStation until the PlayStation 4 Pro. I bought the Spider-Man Bundula. The Bundula. Set up the Premiere, Calm. Redirect to that. Save. Schedule. Oh, Ghost in the Garage Gaming is like, bro. He's like, bro, don't worry. He's like, I got you, bro. Jiminy frickin' Christmas. This guy does not stop. Just dunks on the 150. Dunks it. Just boom. Just massive, bro. Absolutely massive. Let's start creating a cycle. That's a big one. So I owe you 20. I owe you 20 for the first 110 for that. I owe you 30 right now. I owe you 30. Okay. Have you seen the final story trailer from Jedi Survivor? It looks incredible. I can't cover that game. The interest in that game is super weird. Eknor's here! No, that's not oh my, that's not Eknor. Hang on. We knew this day was coming. Eknor, the account is saying the following. Hello, chat. Eknor's brother here. I wanted to let you know he is no more with us. He passed away last week on the 5th. It was his wish to let this community know of his passing. So that was Wednesday of last week. And, well, I appreciate you taking the time to stop by. And you love this community. I can't thank you enough. This channel really helped her to stay positive. Thanks to all again, as Eknor used to say, chat needs to take on from here and keep supporting the channel. I'll make sure Eknor will stay the member of this community. Well, I really appreciate you taking care of their wishes. Excuse me. We obviously are very sorry for your loss. Even though we knew it was coming, it still hurts. And we've decided to immortalize Eknor here with the Eknor Award. every month, the person who gifts the most members will receive that honor. As we honor him, we also want to honor the people who generously support what we do here. The culture on this channel vastly changed because of Eknor and what he did for us. So, as he said, it's time for you guys to pick up the mantle, and you're doing it. You're absolutely doing it. So, today's stream and today's number count is serendipitously in his honor, as we learn of his passing, and we're really appreciative. I know my family is. We are appreciative of Eknor and what he did for us, and what we continue to keep doing here. And yeah, we are once again sorry for the loss, but we appreciate you stopping by and letting us know, because I think we were always worried we'd be sort of in the dark and not really know, like, did he pass? When did he pass? So thank you so much for that. We would have, it's one of those things where, like, it's sad, but I would rather know the day and the time frame. So, April the 5th. Remember the 5th of April. We love Eknor. Thank you, Kale, for 10 months and a VIP. We got about 2 minutes before we're shifting gears, so we were able to kind of dunk the 150 home in Eknor's honor. He didn't. Ghosts in the Garage Gaming didn't know that was coming. Pass over my description. Microtransactions in gaming have been a hot topic for as long as monetization. Monetizing games has been a thing. From cash shops, VC, cosmetics, boosts, battle passes, or even loot boxes, the gaming landscape has been riddled with the best and worst version of each practice. With the rise of AI imposing the question, will AI monetization be better or worse for gaming as a whole? There we go. DSB Prime and Avid7 coming in and renewing their memberships and honoring Eknor with their renewal. Let me set up redirect. I almost missed the buzzer. Please save. Whew. We done here? Yes, I've got a video that I'm going to send you guys to, and then we're going to discuss it as members. I owe you 30 memberships. I'm going to do it in the premiere. So go to this premiere. Ryan Hayer says, hey, before we go, let's snag 10 more. Guys, if you got any more gifted members, hold on to those and do those during the premiere, okay? Eknor says, the COD stream where you guys unlocked the kiddos emote was the best stream. I remember that. I remember Eknor helping us do that. We unlocked the emotes of my family, of my kiddos and my wife. So thank you again, and we will miss Eknor, but he's still with us. Eugene hitting 19 months in a VIP plus. All right, the premiere is starting. I got to send you guys over there. I owe you 30 members. If we get 15 more, I'll owe you 35. So keep the member train going, but do it in this premiere. If the redirect doesn't work, use the link in chat, and then we're going to discuss this as members. So everybody can watch the premiere. Head to it. If you're watching on Kick or you're watching on the Tickety Talk, go to my YouTube channel. All right? We'll see you over there.